There we are. We are live. Welcome to the Ring Slam Wrestling channel for this very special and first live questions and answers with me, Phil Powers. Now let me just like put a little bit of a swing on this whilst we're live. No one's watching, but we're live. Okay, let me put a nice little spin on this. Normally, all of the majority of the content on the Ring Slam Wrestling channel is all done pre-recorded. So I thought what I'll do is I'd make it live. So I answer the questions that get sent to me live rather than read them and re-edit them and stumble across myself. I just thought it'll be a little bit more exciting to do this live for you people, and that also means when I do the other videos, the weekly catch-up videos, I can go back and I can rip this and I can put it in those videos, and I don't have to have a tedious editing process. Okay, now let me just let you guys know I haven't made a video in the last couple of weeks because I didn't have any questions until I went into my email box spam, and then I found about 40 questions for the Ring Slam Wrestling channel, and I thought, oh Christ, Christ, not talking about the Lord in vain, but Christ Almighty, I don't believe it. It's in my spam. There is a God. They do actually like me. They do actually want to know what I'm saying. So I thought we'll do this live and I'll answer your questions now. Okay, well, the first question that I've got is my Fo Nakasaki retirement contest. Before I go any further, let me start again. This question is from Bill from Upminster. What did you think of the Kendo Nakasaki retirement match? Well, first, it wasn't actually a retirement match. It was the second time he had done it. The first time he had done it was at the Fairfield Halls in Croydon, and this was actually a return wrestling match. He was 83 years of age the first time, and he's just recently made his way into the Guinness Book of Records for that match. The answer to your question, Bill from Upminster, is I think it's an absolute wonderful thing. I think it's brilliant. Where else, in what other business could you see 84-year-old have a wrestling match? And he got in the ring and he competed. He done a double body slam. He done some moves, double clotheslines. I thought it was fantastic. And I don't think we're going to see, like, there's not many people that can say that they've done that with their wrestling careers. They've wrestled a match at 84 years of age. And I concerns when somebody is doing something at that time of life, but I don't think he's going to stop just yet. I think we're more than likely going to see a few more wrestling matches from Kendo Nakasaki. I could imagine there will be a return match down the line. Now, I'm not going to lie, some of these questions do actually repeat themselves a little bit to questions that I've been asked before in the past. This question is from Sammy from Scotland. Sammy from Scotland. Okay, says Sammy asks, you started your wrestling career in the early 90s. What have the changes within the wrestling business been like within that time to now? And do you prefer wrestling with the current set of wrestlers, or did you prefer wrestling with the set of wrestlers in the 1990s? Well, your answer to that question is it's a difficult one to answer that, Sammy. The 90s was a very good time. I started in about 94, and it was a very entertainment and different time. I think there was probably a little bit more giggles in the changing room in the 90s, and the wrestlers did tend to be a little bit harder hitting. We were all kind of, how can I explain this? We were very much rejects of society in the 1990s that wouldn't fit into real life. We were all you could say in many ways, Sammy, a bunch of maniacs in the 1990s. Nothing illegal, but people did get hurt in the ring in the 1990s, and there was animosity in the changing room a lot of the time, people ignoring each other, but the genuine camaraderie was absolutely very good. And I think in the 90s, the wrestlers were a lot more relaxed. Now, you don't just go from the 90s to 2025, like there's a long process of change. But to be able to compare the two is very, very, very difficult because by the time now you fast forward to 2025, wrestling is a very different landscape, a very different landscape indeed. And I'm like, maybe some of today's wrestlers are a little bit more scared, are a little bit more like worried every time they go out because there's a lot more pressure on a wrestler now. Someone like you could wrestle in the 90s and you could be wrestling 4 days a week, and then you could go to work your day job in the 90s and no one would know that you was a wrestler. Now, with it all being plastered all over social media, everyone knows that you're a wrestler, and a lot of the time people actually get to watch your matches, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook Lives, or social media. They all get to watch you, and I think that puts a lot of pressure under a lot of today's current wrestling stars. It puts an awful lot of pressure. But one thing I will say is, if you were to ask me who was the toughest of the two, the guys from the 90s and the guys from now, I'm not actually going to discriminate against the guys from now. I think there's some incredibly tough wrestlers out there right now, and they're incredibly skillful and they're incredibly athletic. So I enjoy doing both, to be fair. I enjoy the current landscape of things today, but I also enjoyed the 90s too. So really, I should just be blessed that I'm doing both. Okay, to the next question. Now, there's heaps of these. I've got a anonymous guy here. Would you be interested in making a documentary on Iron Duke Lynch? Well, that'll probably be a AI video on Iron Duke Lynch. I really, really would. But if anyone that's watching this video could actually tell me where Iron Duke Lynch Dave Howarth is right now, that would be a fantastic start because I haven't heard from Iron Duke Lynch in about 10, 15 years. He always used to prop up on wrestling shows, even when he was kind of semi-retired. Every now and again, I'd see Iron Duke Lynch at a show, normally Skegness, Butlin Skegness. He used to pop along there. He was also good friends with a guy called Lee. I can't remember what his wrestling name was now. I refer to him as Big Lee. I think it was Mike Myers or something along those lines, not the actor, but it was Mike Myers was his actual wrestling name. Now, I've got some good knowledge of Iron Duke Lynch as a wrestler that I could make that. It'll probably more than likely be an AI video because I don't, for copyright reasons, I might be able to throw in a few little things. But yes, expect that to drop round about the 28th, 29th of December. Iron Duke Lynch, a wrestler in the Ultimate Wrestling Alliance. I used to really, really like Iron Duke Lynch. We used to call him Doghead and used to say, why was his name Doghead? Well, they would say because he's got a head like a dog. He was actually a really tough guy. I've heard a lot of stories about him getting into tear ups and stuff like that. But that's that question. The next one is from from Frank from the Broadwater Farm. Did you watch the MVK boxing match and see Big Papa T's son becoming the champion? Well, I didn't watch it because I haven't got a TV license, but I did watch all of the repeats on YouTube. And as I've said in a few of the videos that I posted of late, I'm really, really impressed with that. Has anyone in the British wrestling business become a heavyweight boxing champion? And on a stage like that, on a stage as big as that BBC Derby Arena, has anyone that's been connected with British wrestling actually done that? I think that is just a magnificent thing. I've said it, I've documented it. And Frank goes on here to ask about the documentary. Well, that is going to be happening. It's not going to be a documentary. It's going to be a screenplay, a film. We've already made on this channel a Big Papa T AI video. It's good. Like, I'd like to make it again because I think AI's improved a lot since I did make it before. And I honestly, for the life of me, reckon that could be a really, really, really good and cool film. going to be casting for that. So if anyone that is watching right now knows of anyone that fancies being an actor, I've got a cast of actors that are up for doing it, but no, that is going to be definitely in the pipeline pretty soon. But no, back to the Iron Duke Lynch request. I'll be making that video over the new year. But if anyone's got any information of what's happened to him, he's just vanished. He's just gone, vanished from social media. Like I hope he's still alive, but I've got no evidence of him even being out there. I used to get along with him. He was a good laugh. He was always fun around the wrestling scene. He worked for Orig Williams. He worked for a lot of people, but I can't really finish the story unless I know what's happened to him now. But all right, that's about 10 minutes. I think I'm going to wrap this one up now. So, oh, I've just got a message. I've got Iron Duke Lynch's phone number from Tarzan Boy Darren. Well, if he's got a number for him, if you could please pass it on to me, that'll be absolutely fantastic. That'll be brilliant, mate. I'd really appreciate that, because Dave was someone that I used to get along really well with, and I was surprised that I actually got an inbox saying that they wanted to request that video. He was quite big in the 90s. He'd done quite a lot of television. I remember being an extra and supplying a ring for something that he'd done on Casualty. It was a really good few days, good payday as well. And Dave was like featured heavily in that. So if you have got Dave's phone number, that would be absolutely awesome. What if you could email it to me, philwrestlinginfo@gmail.com? That would be awesome, because obviously you don't want to put his number up on here. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up, and I might do a couple more of these. They're a little bit nerve-wracking, but they're pretty cool. But if I've got contact now with Dave, that'll be like it was worth doing. The Lord works in mysterious ways, and he obviously got me to do this not Facebook, this YouTube live, so that I could get Doghead's number. All right then, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. It's been absolutely cool, and I'll probably do a few more of these. And keep an eye on the channel, and I will see you all later. Out we go.